Southwest Florida, you are looking live. And y'all notice when I do my show, I'm always doing this. I don't know, it's an old habit. You are looking live at Lee Pitts Live on Fox 4. We're here as the media sponsor of the largest Kwanzaa event to ever take place in this part of the state, Southwest Florida. We're in Fort Myers at the Dr. Carey Robinson Center. About 250 people are here, so happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa, everyone.
And as a part of this process here, we are getting a chance to talk to many of the people who participated in the program and people who are just here to observe and eat and show unity and camaraderie. And we have an international flavor. We have our native girl who has gone off, become successful. She's over in Asia. What part of Asia are you in?
I am in Shanghai, China.
Give your full name for TV purposes.
My name is Chantel Rhodes.
Chantel, what are you doing in Shanghai?
So in Shanghai, I am teaching English as a foreign language. There is a great demand for English teachers all throughout Asia, so I said, let me take advantage of this opportunity. Yeah, and that's where I am.
My swimmers who were in the Lee Pitts Swim School, they do big things. You guys have been watching this show for years. You keep seeing my swimmers come on here. They're just coming on. Everybody say I need to have a reunion.
You do.
All of you are so successful. Shari Armstrong now is an anchor woman in Fox 4. You are all over in Shanghai. I just talked to one who's has a cake company, specialty cakes. I mean,
you
they
got
all
us
over.
right.
The school teachers, y'all. You know what it is? I think that when you excel in swimming, in general, because you went on to be a SEAL, when you excel in swimming, the discipline and all the techniques and things that go into that, and you have to pay attention, it translates over to the books. And when it translates over to the books, all types of wonderful things come from the books.
And guess what? I taught my students in China peanut butter, and jelly. Yes, I did.
The legendary Lee Pitts
right here in
School
Fort Myers,
song.
Florida. Yes, I did.
And I pound that song into you guys' head, but you know along the way, if you look back at it, I was teaching y'all a little swimming technique. Put your face in the water,
right,
getting used to it. That's my way of getting you comfortable in the water without even knowing.
You a legend.
And you guys would come to practice looking forward to them songs.
Absolutely. That was the best part.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We took that very seriously, and you know, I don't want to get into what happened afterwards, but I started traveling around the world after I left teaching at the Stars Complex. So I've taught swimming all around the world.
Wow.
I started doing clinics. Remember that video that I put out, the DVD?
Yes, I did.
That became real popular. Then Essence Magazine did a story on it.
Wow.
And then I started getting called all over, from Chicago to New York to Los Angeles to Haiti to South Africa to Australia, Montreal, Canada, just doing clinics and getting paid big money. That's what happened.
I can believe it, yes.
Okay, let's get to you. The Shanghai, the Black Shanghai.
The Black Shanghai.
First of all, are you learning some of their language or
I'm learning a tad bit of Chinese, but you know, Chinese is a very difficult language to learn, so my Chinese is absolute trash, so don't ask me to say anything. But they actually prefer that teachers speak just English or another language. They don't want the children to rely on translation or anything. You know, the Chinese can be very tough, so they want just hardcore, just teaching them from scratch.
But you are unique, though, in the sense of you're over there, you're teaching English, but you're black. Does that get you additional attention?
That gets me. I'm on the train every morning. I look up. There's cameras in my face, and they're trying to hurry up and hide their cameras. You know, because here in America we have so much diversity, but in China it's just the Chinese for the most part. So they've seen us on TV, and so many of them cannot fathom the fact that I'm from the United States of America. They assume, oh, she's black, so you must be from Africa. So it's a tough experience. You have to have a lot of patience, but they have to have a lot of patience with me also as a foreigner too.
Yeah, but they're learning within that process because they get a chance to interact with an African American teacher who's black.
Right.
And the reason I can relate to you in some, I've already told you about a lot of my international travel, and it was very similar for me when I was in South Africa. They were used to seeing black people in Africa, but not black Americans in Africa, and black Americans in Africa who went down into the neighborhood, not the touristy stuff. I went down into the shanty huts and into the township and mingled with the natives, the the indigenous people,
Right.
and they had never ever talked directly to an African American.
Yeah, and that's
they
how
just
it
found
is.
it to be. They asked me a lot of questions. I just
Right,
found it to be a
right.
very educational process.
Right. So we educate. I'm learning just as they are learning, but it's such a heavy mantle because we are representing blacks all over the world. For my students, I'm the first black person that they've ever seen. So it's important that I set a good example for our race.
Tell us the process. You grew up here in Fort Myers. You went off to college.
Right.
Walk us through how you ended up in Shanghai.
Oh, okay. So basically, like you said, I grew up in Fort Myers, graduated from North Fort Myers High School, then went on to get my bachelor's at the University of South Florida. After that, I spent some time working in Atlanta, Georgia, doing social services in Atlanta, Georgia, and then I got my master's from Georgia State studying diplomacy. So that I already had an interest in international and foreign affairs, but after I got my master's, I was just exhausted. I needed a break, and I said I'm gonna go abroad for a couple of years and teach English as a foreign language just to give myself a break. And wow, that's how I got to this point right now.
To teach English as a foreign language, do you have to be like an English major, or
No,
just Joe
not
Blow
at all.
can go do it?
You do no, I wouldn't say Joe Blow could go do it. Certainly not. But there are certifications that you have to be certified to teach English as a foreign language.
Okay.
But they need teachers so bad. They want you to have first your bachelor's degree, and then they will say, okay, well, if you're willing to come over here and teach our children, we will help you get certified. They're going to get you everything you need because they need you just that bad.
Wow.
Mind you, there are so many Chinese teachers capable of teaching the language, but they say, no, that's not good enough. We want native English speakers to teach our children the language. Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
What does that say about English? The importance of it.
What does it say about America also? But the importance of English, I mean, my students are in their third and fourth language, and the parents are still drilling English. English is the number one language of trade in the world. So it is extremely important.
Tell us about a typical school day for you as a teacher in Shanghai. Where do you live?
Right.
You say they take pictures of you, so you commute to school.
I commute on a train, so there's no more me getting in a car anymore. I commute about an hour to work. That's because of where I live, but I commute about an hour to work on the train, start my day with those kids. They do English from about 9 o'clock in the morning till about 2 p.m. After that, then they have their Chinese classes. Man, those kids over there, they don't mess around. After Chinese class, they go to Taekwondo or piano. So from sun up to sundown, those children are constantly engaged. There is no going home after school and playing a video game or even playing outside. They're always involved in some kind of constructive activity.
Okay, let me deal with that. What is that? Is that good or is that bad? Now, and what does that say about Americans in terms of being able to compete with them
on the
world stage?
This is gonna have to lead us into a whole nother segment, another episode. But basically, it's an eye opener with us here, being Native Americans. But at first I look at them with compassion. Like, I feel sorry for these kids. They're 4 and 5 years old, and their parents are so hard on them, like to the point where it makes me cry as a teacher. And then I've had parents come to me and say, you need to give them more homework. And I'm like, they're 4. More homework. They believe in that. And I respect it. I respect the discipline. But most importantly, I respect my learners. They have a real thirst for education, unlike what I've seen anywhere else, because I've traveled extensively. But they treat education as if it's gold. They love competition. They love learning a new word. Teacher, can you teach us a new word today? I've never seen anything like it, so it is an absolute joy to teach them. It is.
It says something about the future in terms of how the Chinese are going, just progress.
Knowledge is power. And I would like to see our children here in America adopt more of those attitudes towards learning. And many of us do. I don't want to say, American kids do not feel that way about knowledge, but it's a different world. I feel like our children have a lot more fun and happiness in their life, whereas over there it's about structure, it's about discipline, and it's about academics, which is going to pay off in the future. It's going to help them. But
It's a
big
22
difference.
situation.
We can learn a lot from each other, both cultures.
Right now, when they see you physically, do they think that you might be mixed with?
They know I'm not.
Okay.
They know I'm not, and they take full advantage of it too.
Right.
When I get on them and I discipline them, that's when you hear all the Chinese, and I hear my name come out. What'd you say? What'd you say? They're talking about. They know that I'm nothing like them at all, and they know I don't speak Chinese too well. That's how they get away with a lot of stuff too.
But you said something interesting about how people will sneak and take pictures of you.
Yes.
Do they have just from my observation, the Asian people are a lot more passive. They're not aggressive. They won't
very
draw
gentle
attention
people.
to themselves.
They embarrass easily as well. Right.
Would they have the nerves to come up to you like a random person and just start a conversation? Hey.
Some people do, and they will ask for a picture. I've had people, I'm out in public, some people will come and hand me their baby for me to take a picture with their baby. Wow. They think it's a very exotic experience to have their touching my hair. The old ladies on the train are touching my hair and talking about my hair. So yeah, they have the audacity.
How from your experience, I had a certain experience when I was in South Africa on how people actually admired black people. I don't. What's it like in Shanghai? Is it a general consensus that they admire black people and respect them for their abilities, or less?
Never a general consensus about anything.
Okay.
But my experience has been quite pleasant. I find that it's curiosity. But I have African American friends that feel like they've been discriminated against, that feel like they've been treated poorly, and that's why they left the country. So, but from my experience, it is a lack of exposure to us, you know. They already look at foreigners. Sometimes there is some hostility often. You know, you see pay differences between the Chinese teachers and the foreign teachers, and they work way harder than we do, and we get paid 3-4 times as much. So you can understand, you know, why there are different attitudes.
It sounds like you might be a part of a little activism over there. You got that revolutionary.
I try to be so
to
balanced in my, you know, in how I answer these questions, not leaning too far to the left or too far to the right, you know. So, yeah.
Technology. I've talked to some people who've traveled to Asia, and they've told me that the technology there is pretty advanced, more than we would realize here.
I would say
and we
so.
see how behind America is.
I would say so, and it's interesting what the U.S. is going through right now with the trade war with China. I'm not sure how familiar you are with it, but it has to do. Donald Trump made a lot of comments about basically them stealing intelligence and this, that, and the third. But basically, China is coming up in the world, and the United States knows that, and China and the U.S., two of the world's strongest economic powers. So there's technology. It's going to be interesting.
Everybody who's watching wants you to know that this is the world famous Darlene of Darlene and Friends, Darlene Mitchell. This is her daughter. Okay, let's
yes.
wish her a happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa, Mama. I love you. I wouldn't be who I am today without Darlene Mitchell. Let that be known.
You are copy of Darlene.
That's what they say.
In terms of the way Darlene goes
That's
out and
what
makes
they
stuff
say.
happen.
That's what they say.
She's always been like that. She set a good example for you, right?
She certainly did. She certainly did.
Good singer and Christian and just all around.
See, I don't sing too much. I leave that to her and my brother. I'd rather buy a plane ticket and I get on the microphone. But yeah, as far as her behaviors, they say I'm just like my mama.
What's next for you? Is your long-term goal to just live in your full life in Asia, or you're gonna come back to the States, or what?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. So I'll be moving back to Fort Myers, Florida within the next 7 months. Yeah, you know, it's a blessing and it's a good opportunity to work overseas, but I want to work with my own community. You know, I want to work with my kids. I want to take what I've learned abroad, and I want to come and I want to share that with kids from my own community.
You gonna go in the school system?
You know, I'm not exactly sure. I may even be doing some work with the Quality of Life Center. I haven't worked all of that out. I am a social worker.
Okay.
I have my master's in social work. However, I'm not sure which avenue I'll take. Now that I've been teaching, I don't know. I may choose education, but we'll see.
That's amazing that now you've had an experience in your life that you never ever can replace. You're coming back home, bringing that back
Absolutely.
here. Just so broad and well-rounded. The last time you and I hung out, you probably think I don't remember all this stuff, but I remember everything when we were in the car.
Easter parade.
Easter parade.
Was it the Easter parade? Yes,
it was. You were videoing me inside. We were having a great time, and I still got those pictures. I think you might see them from time to time.
I know.
And then boom. disappeared, and I'm like, where are you going over there?
All over there in
Tell
China.
people how we first hooked up and made this happen. We started planning this, 4 or 5 months ago?
4 or 5 months ago on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
On Facebook. It was nighttime for me, and I think it was daytime for you, but we were communicating back and forth to make this thing happen.
I shoot you a message, then about 6 hours later you'll respond.
Yeah. Nothing is quick. It's rarely going to be quick.
And then when I realized I was going to be here, I said, hey, are you going to be at this event? Boom. Right? Because I was trying to catch you when you were at home.
Excellent opportunity for both of us. It's a pleasure.
Tell me about before I let you go, pancakes and something you say. You did something.
Passports and pancakes. Okay. It was actually held here at the Dr. Kerry Robinson Center, and it was just something very new that I was trying out, just to try to see how the city would feel about people coming in, talking about traveling abroad and, international exposure. And it worked out pretty well. We raised some money for the kids of the teens of the Quality of Life Center, and we are I am looking forward to doing some work with them in the future. And Mr. Muhammad has been so gracious in welcoming me and my ideas, and I'm just ready to get to work. I'm ready to come back home.
We are glad to get somebody of your rank and snuff back here. You're going to just be so beneficial to us.
I love Fort Myers, Florida. I love Fort Myers, Florida. I've been all over the world, but you know what? It's true what they say, it's no place like home.
Okay. 7 months, huh? So you signed some kind of contract.
You sign contracts and you finish those contracts because you don't want to leave the children in the middle of a school year. That's, you can break the contract at any point, but, I want to follow through with those students and see them on until the next level.
Did you see in your environment where you were many blacks doing what you were doing?
In China?
Right, yeah, teaching English.
Yes.
Okay.
So many of us. We have
y'all get quick employment opportunities.
You know what? So many Greeks in China too.
Really?
The Omegas just chartered a chapter in China. It's so many of us.
AKA, aren't you? Okay,
yes, I am. But
it's
so many of us over there doing great things all throughout Asia, all throughout the world. And that's the idea and the spirit I want to instill in more of our youth here in Fort Myers. It's more to life than the careers we've been shown. Because when I was growing up, I never met anybody that said I've traveled all over the world. I'm a teacher in another country. So hopefully that'll inspire somebody to say, you know what? Hey, I want to travel too. Because there's so much knowledge. The world is a classroom.
I tell you, people, I usually when I come to these events, I do what I got to do, and I get out here as soon as I can. I told my cameraman and everybody else, no, we're going to have to wait because we got to get this interview with her, and it was all worth it.
It was so worth it.
Any final comments you want to make? You want people to be able to connect with you on social media?
I just want to say thank you because you the man. You've been bringing people together. You've been keeping the community informed. And honestly, I want to follow in your footsteps when it comes to getting the message out and supreme journalism. And I commend you for the work you've done here in Southwest Florida.
Certainly when you get back in town, we'll work some ways to get you involved with what we're doing. Were you here at the beginning when I went up on the stage?
I was here,
yes. What did you think about that as you being an orator when I went up to do the welcome?
I'm not quite the orator, but you did your thing,
Okay. You never know what you do. People out there watching. I was just doing it off the top, right?
Off the top, and you were great.
Now you did a presentation recent on the stage here at Kwanzaa. What did you
Yes, I presented the last principle of Kwanzaa, and that's Imani, faith. So I just did a very brief explanation of what faith means to our community and our people.
Outstanding. You heard it right here. The only place you're going to get it is right here on Lee Pitts Live. We are going to go to a break. We're here at the 2018 Kwanzaa celebration here in Fort Myers in the Dunbar community, the largest Kwanzaa celebration in history of this area. On the stage right now in the main ballroom is Abdul Haq Muhammad, the executive director of the Quality Life Center. And we're going to go in and get some of his message as well. We'll be right back.
All right.